Hello everybody, so I'm back with another baking video and this time I'm going to be showing you how to make this incredible ombre cake. It's flavoured with strawberry icing and vanilla icing and it tasted so good and I love the way it turned out. So if you want to know how to make it, just keep on watching. So the first thing you need to do is preheat your oven to 170 degrees Celsius. And then for the ingredients, what you will need is 850 grams of self-raising flour, 850 grams of caster sugar, 850 grams of butter at room temperature, 10 large free-range eggs, 10 tablespoons of whole milk, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and a food colouring of your choice. If you don't think that your bowl or food mixer will hold all of these ingredients because it is a lot, you might need to split it in half, and that's exactly what I did for my mixture. So I did half of the ingredients first and then the second half after. So for the first half I just did half of my butter and half of my sugar and half of my vanilla extract, and I mixed all of those together in my food processor, making sure they came out really light and really fluffy. So once your mixture is starting to look something like this, you can start cracking in your eggs one at a time. I like to put a spoonful of flour in between each of my eggs as well because that stops it from curdling. So I just did the same thing with the rest of my eggs, and not forgetting that it's 5 instead of 10 because you're doing half, if you're doing half. And I made sure to mix in between each egg that I included as well. So next you can add in the flour, obviously half again, so just sieve that all in, making sure that it's really well mixed through the food processor as well. You should have a mixture that looks something like this, really light and fluffy and creamy. And the next stage is to weigh out all of your mixture, and I just put all of it into a separate bowl on my scales and it was 1,500 grams. So I just divided that by 3 because obviously I'm doing half a mixture but I've got 6 layers, so I'm just doing 3 layers at the moment. Maths. So I just had 500 grams in each of my 3 bowls, so that was all even because you want your layers to be as even as possible, so I just measured out exactly the same for each bowl. Once you've got 3 exactly the same, you want to repeat that whole process, and this is obviously if you're doing half and half. If you have a giant mixer and you're doing all of the ingredients together, then obviously you just do 6 instead. So when you've got 6 bowls identical, you can start doing your food colouring. So I've got 6 little pots here and I just added in my milk evenly to each one, and then I started off with my white, so I've got a white food colouring and I just put that into the first pot, and then I made my way through with my pink food colouring, which is a gel colouring by the way, which you need for this, otherwise your colours won't be vibrant enough. So I can't stress how important it is to get a gel food colouring. And you just want to make sure that every one you do goes darker each time. So you want to go from white to dark pink or whatever colour that you choose to do. So once all of your colours are done, you can start adding them to each of your cake mixtures. So starting off with number 1, I just added that to a normal bowl and then added in my white food colouring milk mixture to start with. And I just folded that in with the cake batter, and it's really important to fold it so that you don't lose the air. And so I got a nice white cake mixture, and then I just went through all of the other food colourings. So obviously at the end you should have 6 different coloured cake batters that go from white to the darkest shade of whatever colour that you've chosen. If at any point you think that some of your cake batters aren't dark enough or light enough, you can just always add in a bit more food colouring or add in some white to make it lighter. That's totally fine. So now that all of your cake batters are ready, you can start baking them. So first of all you need to prepare your baking tin, and I've just got an 8-inch baking tin, and I like to grease mine with butter first, and then I use a circular grease-proof piece of paper to put on the base of my pan. And I also add in some flour and just tap that around the edge, and this is the best way that I've found to grease a pan. Like, it's foolproof, it works every time. So then you can start spooning in each of your mixtures into the pan and bake them. If you've got more than one pan, then this is going to be a lot easier because you'll have more time, because you'll be doing 2 at a time or 3 at a time, however many pans you have. I've only got 1, so it took a while, but hey, one day I'll invest in another one. So you bake each cake for 15 minutes and you'll know that it's ready because you'll be able to stick something in the middle of it and it will come out nice and clean. So the next stage is to make all of your layers totally even, and I'm going to use this cake leveler to do mine. These are about £3 I think from the internet, and you just basically level it out on your worktop and then just slice through the top of the cake so that it's all completely even, really symmetrical and that all of your layers are exactly the same size. Once you peel this off as well, it'll be a really vibrant colour and you don't want any brown bits, so you just put something circular on top of your cake and trim off the edges as well. That'll get rid of all the brown bits so that when you do cut into your cake, all you see is lovely vibrant colours. So once all of your cakes have been levelled and trimmed, you should have something that looks a bit like this and you'll be able to see the colours going up. And the next stage is to do your icing. So I did strawberry icing for the inside and then vanilla on the outside. So for the strawberry icing, you just want to put about 100 grams of butter into a bowl with about 100 grams of fresh strawberries and just mix those all together. I also added in about a tablespoon of strawberry jam, and I also added in about half a packet of Angel Delight, and this gave it the most amazing strawberry flavour. This was the best icing I think I've ever made, and it was all my own recipe, so I'm so proud of it. So then I just added in my icing sugar and mixed that all together until it was all really light and fluffy. I know I've said light and fluffy about 17 times in this video, but that's what you want. So next I made my vanilla icing, which was about 250 grams of butter along with 850 grams of icing sugar and a little bit of vanilla extract in there as well. And I just used a piping bag and a small round tip nozzle, and I put that over the glass to steady everything out, and then I filled that with a little bit of the vanilla icing that I've just made. So using that vanilla icing in the piping bag, I'm just going to pipe a small, even circular layer of icing all around the outside of the bottom layer of my cake. This is just going to act as like a border so that I can fill it in with the strawberry icing because I'm having strawberry in between my layers. And this just stops the strawberry flooding out and making the outside pink because I want the outside of my cake to be white. I hope that makes sense. But basically I'm just using it to fill in or flood in the pink icing in between each layer. So then I just put on my second layer of cake and I do exactly the same thing. So I'm just going to pipe another white border all around the outside with the vanilla icing, and then I'm going to flood in the middle with the strawberry icing. So you just want to continue doing that for each layer until you've got all 6 layers neatly piled on top of each other. So once you've stacked each of your 6 layers and you've got a lovely looking cake like this, you can start doing your crumb coat with the vanilla icing. So a crumb coat is basically just like a initial coat that you do with the icing, like a kind of like a messy coat, so that you can lock in all the crumbs and so that none of them get into the final layer of icing and ruin the outside of your cake. So you just want to tightly lock in all of those crumbs, and once you've done this you can just put your cake in the fridge for about 1 to 2 hours so that that's definitely all set down. Then you can do your final layer of icing with the rest of your vanilla icing. So I just spread all of mine over evenly the whole of my cake, and you can do whatever you want to decorate your cake. You can do some piping designs or make it really neat and square and even, but I decided to do kind of like a different take on it, and I did a more, I like to say, rusticy kind of vibe on mine. It's just really textured and I like the way this looks on cakes. I've seen loads of pictures of it online and on Pinterest and stuff, and I just think it looks really nice and a little bit different. So I just really lightly swiped my palette knife over the edge of the cake to get that effect. And I also added a topper to my cake. I added this peony fondant topper, which I made myself, and I will be doing a tutorial on how to make it in the future if you would like to see that, so make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you would like to see that. And I also just took some crumbs from the excess of each of the cakes that I made and sprinkled those all around the outside, and this is the finished look of the cake and I think it looks really cool. And I'm also going to show you the inside of what it looks like, obviously. So this is before I did all the decoration and stuff. So I just took a slice out and that is what it looks like on the inside. I got a really nice ombre effect from dark to light. You can do it the other way around. You can do dark at the top and light at the bottom. It really doesn't matter, but I just love the way the colours all go in like a gradient effect. I think this is my favourite cake that I've ever made. I'm so happy with it. So that's it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you would like to see more baking videos from me in the future, just let me know by giving this video a thumbs up and I will make sure that I do more. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!